This is Music Parley.
And we are on. So, about a week ago, I was scrolling on social media and I came across this video of you. It was more of a snippet of a song, actually, filmed in the studio. Nothing really fancy, just pure, raw, creative energy. It even had like a little dance and everything.
Yes.
So the song was fire. The energy was right. And I instantly remembered that one thing every A&R I ever spoke with said they look for in an artist, first and foremost, which is the attitude. And when I watched that video, I instantly saw it and recognized that this is what they were talking about. So I couldn't have asked for a better first guest to my podcast than Aliya herself. So, welcome.
Thank you. Hi.
So, how did that first song came about? What happened?
Do you know, when people ask me kind of what inspired me to make that song or just a song, I don't really have an answer. It just kind of comes to me. When I found that beat, which I found on YouTube, I had it for like 2 weeks and I was listening to it every single day for 2 weeks. And for the first time, I just didn't know how I was going to come onto it. Normally when I listen to a track and I click with it, I kind of get how I'm going to come onto it immediately. With this one, I really listened to the beat and I had no kind of idea of where I was going to go. And then I remember just looking at my screen and I saw like "so here" like text written on my phone, on my screen. And then I just kind of put the "so here," yeah, and I just kind of put that bit in. And then from there, it all just kind of flowed.
Is it ready? Is it finished?
In terms of writing, it's completely finished. I'm just waiting to get it mixed and mastered, which will hopefully be next week. Hopefully it should be mixed and mastered, and then I move on to shooting the music video.
Oh, cool. So
yeah.
When would you think everything will be ready when can people find it?
So I'm aiming to have it released by like mid-August. That's me including my promotion. I want to be promoting it from like a month from now, have my music video shot a month from now, and kind of just be marketing, promoting. So mid-August, when summer prime time, hopefully that's when it's ready.
What do you do in terms of promotion?
So in terms of, I haven't actually really thought about my marketing and promotion plan. I just kind of share it all over my social media, Snapchat, Instagram, get all of my friends and everyone I know to share it, and just kind of, hope for the best. Just keep pushing it and sharing it everywhere and just build that anticipation. So when it is time to release, it's been waiting for, you know?
Yeah. So that organic feel and push behind it.
Yeah.
Do you have like a ritual whenever you write or whenever you record something?
A ritual. I'd say that I have a specific way of how I record. Like I'll do my record and then I do in terms of like how I structure my recording. So then I'll have like stabs and ad-libs, and through each of my tracks, it's more or less the same. I kind of have that same principle. But with writing, naturally, I just tend to make the hook first. In most of my songs, my hook comes first, which I know is a bit of a different structure to your standard song. It's usually verse, chorus, verse, chorus. Usually mine, it goes hook, verse, verse.
Yeah, actually, I remember seeing an interview with 50 Cent when talking about whenever he started rapping and learned the structure of a song. And he always starts with the hook as well, because that kind of gives the feel, the central theme around the song, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why. And do you know what? When I start writing a song, it's not intention that I write the hook first. It's just what I write sounds like the hook.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really strange.
On an emotional level, what would you ideally like people to feel when they listen to your tracks?
So I really thought about this. My brand message that I'm trying to be putting out is mostly for girls to like be independent, We're not stressing about these boys. We're just having fun with our friends, kind of thing. So I want everyone to feel like happy and lit and excited, and that's the kind of vibe that I'm going for. I want people to like be like, yeah, turn this up, like this girl, she's lit. That's what I'm going for.
I can definitely see a lot of people relate to that.
Yeah.
Is there a record that you wish you would have made? Like a song, a particular song that just makes you go, God, I wish I made that song.
Do you know what? The first song that came to my head when you said that was I Should Have Cheated by Keisha Cole.
I don't know it.
You don't know it. It's so my inspiration and a lot of my influences kind of come from that old school R&B kind of sound, you know, like your Beyonce's Destiny's Child,
Alicia Keys.
that kind that, yeah, them kind of, that's what I'm trying to do, just in a more modern, contemporary way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if it was going to be one song, I think that's a tricky question, actually.
I know.
But the first that came to my head was I Should Have Cheated by Keisha Cole. The lyrics, the vocals in that song are just crazy.
You know I'm going to go back and listen to all of these things,
Yeah,
right?
definitely, 100. I'm going to put it in the chat.
Cool, thanks. So how did you get started in music? Like, when did you actually start? How did that happen?
So from a very young age, I always knew that I was going to do something, either musical, dance, what's it called, acting. I knew it was going to be something performing arts, but I'd always kind of been passionate about music. From young, I'd written like covers and lyrics to songs like No Scrubs by TLC. I completely took the lyrics off and made a whole completely different song. And I was like 11 maybe. So from very young, I always knew it was going to be music. And then when I got into college, I did music technology. And at first I wanted to be a producer and an engineer. And then I had this friend and she was a singer and I helped her write her lyrics. I'd always been a songwriter, but I'd never actually recorded myself. And then one time I just thought, oh, do you know what? Let me just record myself and see how it goes. And I loved it. And then ever from then, I was like, yeah, I'm going to focus on songwriting and recording, maybe put beat making on a back burner, but I'm still kind of trying to practice my sound engineering and whatnot. So yeah, there wasn't like a specific turning point when I was like, yeah, it's going to be music. I always kind of had that passion for it. It was kind of just a matter of time of being like, yeah, that's what I'm going to put my heart into now.
Okay. Is there a person in your life that will act like some kind of inspiration?
In terms of my music, there's not someone close to me that I can look up to and say, this person inspires me to make music. But my mum, she just makes me want to be successful. And I know that if I'm going to do anything, music is what I can be the most successful at, because it's what I enjoy doing the most. So yeah, I wouldn't say that there's someone that I kind of look to and is like, yeah, you make me want to make music, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you come from a musical family. I know people usually get inspired from that and start very young.
Yeah, no, not really. Not music. Kind of everyone in my family. My mum, she'd always done like social care and support work kind of thing. So I don't really, although growing up, we always listened to music. Like music was on every single day, all day. So I guess, I don't know. It just kind of...
What kind of music did you listen to growing up?
So I grew up listening to, it was mostly US music, again, like your Destiny's Child. It was mostly R&B kind of music. Who else can I think of? Your Trey Songz, Chris Brown. But you know, in the early 2000s, to 2010, that kind of music, that's what I grew up to. And when I listen to myself or my songs, I can hear my influences. So yeah.
Is there, like, what's the ideal destination you would like to take your career towards?
To the very, 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 very top.
That's different. That's different for different people. What does that mean to you?
Like, I want to be mainstream. I want to be liked, but by like my audience, and I want my audience to be homegrown and organic. So I want to be like, let me compare someone. Think of someone to compare. If I'm in terms of how far I want to take my career, I'm talking your Beyoncés and your Nicki Minaj's. That's how I'm trying to get. And because I feel like in the UK, there's not anyone that's my age that's making the music that I'm making. So there's actually a gap in the market, and I'm ready to fill that gap.
I'm sure, from what I listened so far, at least. What are the challenges you are facing, and maybe will face to getting there?
I think for me right now, the main thing is, I would say, it's probably financials. To how I want to commit to it, and how I've planned like my releases, kind of when I'm going to release them, my marketing and whatnot, and it all adds up. And at the minute, that's kind of what's stressing me out. But I'm thinking I've got to make time for it. I've got to find the money for it. And yeah, because the passion's there. I just need to pay for stuff.
Yeah. This kind of situation and circumstances are very, very good for creative, to get the creative juices going, like in terms of marketing, in terms of promotion, in terms of, I don't know, selling records from the trunk of your car or whatever. That kind of thing builds character. And whenever you further your career and you face challenges, you already are mastered, somehow.
Yeah.
So that's very good. I'm kind of sharing the same situation as you, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I can definitely relate. I've seen you made a post last week about reaching out to working with artists and producers. Who would you like to collaborate with specifically?
I'm open to collaborate with anyone who's good. And it doesn't even just have to be artists. It could be like mentors, managers, promoters, like organizers, or anyone in the music industry that can help me further where I am right now. I'm open to work with. But in terms, because I've only made a song with 2 other people. All of my songs are just me. So I do want to have and just kind of explore where I can take, where kind of what I can do a bit more, because I enjoy writing songs with people, because it makes me think of things that I wouldn't think of if I was on my own. So yeah, it's just a matter of finding people to work with. I want to find someone kind of like me that's not really making what other people are out there making, and then we can just grow together and that. Yeah.
Is there anyone mainstream who you would like to collaborate with right now, both in the UK and internationally, of course?
One mainstream. Yeah, there are a few actually. There's this girl called Juice Menace. I wouldn't say she's mainstream yet, but she'll be getting there. And it was actually her. I listened to one of her songs, and that song inspired me to, when I was at college, inspired me to record myself and write my own song and record myself. And ever from the time I heard that song, I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a rapper. So her, Juice Menace, she's one person I would like to work with, because I don't know, if I never heard that song, I probably wouldn't have clicked that I wanted to be a rapper so soon. There's a lot of male rappers in the industry, like Western, I would love to work with, because their style's all different. Who else in the UK? Right now, my style is quite UK. That I've been listening to mostly UK music at the minute. So I think right now I want to focus on building my audience where I am, and then kind of just growing it into the US and internationally. Who else in America? My mind's gone blank. I can't think of any artists. I definitely want like a male rapper. D-Block Europe, that's one group I would love to work with.
Who?
They're called D-Block Europe. They're these 2 guys from London.
Okay.
And they joined the industry like mainstream about 3 years ago, I want to say, and they just skyrocketed. Like their marketing and everything was on point, and their style, they came with a completely different style that no one in the UK was making. So pioneers, I just want to be surrounded by pioneers and good artists.
I'm curious, would you be receptive towards collaborating with artists outside of US and UK and English-speaking languages, English-speaking countries, sorry, like France and Germany, Italy, Poland?
Definitely. Do you know what? I actually did, I kind of was looking at some research and I found that songs, say like D Block Europe, for example, they made a song with this French guy, and in his whole verse, he was speaking French. And even though a lot of us don't understand it, we will still listen to it because it sounds good. So I found that when you collaborate outside of, say, your language, you're opening, like you're building more of an audience, and it's just adding a different flavor to the song. Because I've never tried that. I've never made a song with someone who's not speaking my language. I'd definitely be open to doing that. And I found that it does numbers.
I saw some kinds of collaborations like this within Europe, and I find them extremely interesting. And I think it's kind of the only way we can really compete with the US, because you know, and we have a lot of culture and a lot of things to offer together, I think. So that's why I had this question.
Yeah, 100%. And it will just add something a bit different, you know, a different bit of culture, something that you're not predicting me to do.
I'm gonna touch on that. I'm gonna come back to that. I'm actually very interested in the UK culture, the UK hip hop scene.
Yeah.
Would you like to be signed or to a major label, or would you like to be an independent?
I think at first, until I've got an audience that I grew myself, and because I feel like, yeah, you could have record labels help you build all of this audience, but I thought, for one, once I've kind of built my own audience and I did this on my own, one, I could ask for more from a record label because I've actually got more to offer. Two, because I'm a uni student as well, and I study music, and I have learned all of these things that these record labels are doing, and it's quite scary, actually. The way that they scam artists is just ridiculous, and I'm kind of at a point where, yeah, I just want to be independent at first, kind of set the foundation. That way I know it's really organic. I did this myself, like with this cheap equipment, this cheap marketing, whatever, and I've still done it, kind of thing. But eventually, at some point, I feel like there's only so far you can take yourself without the backing of a label. So at some point, when I do reach that kind of standard where, yeah, I can ask for this much, this is what you're gonna do for me, then I would like to be signed. But I feel like for the first couple years, depending on how long it takes me to get to that point, I'll be like, no, I'm trying to be independent for now.
Russ is one of the great examples of an artist who's done that. He was doing his own beats, his own music, his own fan base, his own marketing, and he gained enough leverage to negotiate with major labels a distribution deal, which is very lucrative for him. Nipsey Hussle is another one. And there are a lot of tools for independent artists right now that kind of substitute the role of a label. Yeah.
I find that, but because of like social media, like in terms of, say, like 30 years ago, I couldn't make a song and just be like, right, I'm going to put this out and it's going to like blow up without the record label, because there was no social media. There was not all of these things where actually I can do what you guys are doing on my own. So yeah, thanks to like social media, that's made it possible for you to do it yourself, really. But like I said, for me, like I said, I want to take it up to the Beyoncés and whatnot. I need, there's going to come a point where I'm going to need an extra push. But come that time, I will be able to negotiate.
Beyonce has an cult-like following, I think. It's like her community management game is crazy. Taylor Swift is another one. They just have this cult-like following. I'm really fascinated about how people manage to build such a following.
Yeah, like people just follow blindly, kind of thing. Like, yeah, this is Beyonce, we love her, and we're gonna do.
How do you think they manage that in terms of actual efforts?
I feel like one was consistency. Beyonce, she's been about like forever, and up until kind of recent years, she never took like gaps. There wasn't long kind of yearly gaps where she didn't make any music. I'd say I think maybe before she had her first kid, she was just dropping tracks all the time. And then obviously, I'd say one is consistency, obviously then the promotion and the marketing and whatnot. And I read this thing that Taylor Swift did, which was a very good strategy. I think she picked a couple fans at Christmas, and she showed up at their house with gifts. And come on, like that is going to build that cult like following, So I feel like a lot of their strategies in terms of how they market and kind of what they represent as well, they're very relatable. So a lot of girls will feel like, oh yeah, you feel like you have a kind of relationship with them kind of thing. So yeah, I think that's kind of how they went about that.
Must be weird though. Go on.
And to say what they was releasing was always quality.
Yeah,
they wasn't just putting out trash.
You cannot do anything else without this being the first break to it. It must be crazy though, like thinking about it, listening to you and thinking about it. So many people that feel that they know you so intimately and so to get so comfortable with you, and you don't really know them as an artist. That must be scary. How do you prepare yourself for that in a way?
Do you know what I think? I think I've underestimated kind of how big it's gonna get, and kind of how my lifestyle is just gonna completely change. I'm gonna have all of these people who say that they know me, but I don't know who they are. So I haven't actually kind of prepared. I haven't actually prepared for like mainstream and kind of fame. Right now I'm just kind of focusing, I want to make this music and I want to put it out. So I feel like, yeah, in a way I have kind of underestimated how it's gonna change kind of how I have to operate kind of thing. Now that I'm thinking about it, it does sound quite scary. But I think I'll get the most happiness out of like, wow, these people actually really love what I'm doing. And I think it's going to be like satisfying for me. And I feel like as artists, the first kind of priority isn't necessarily making money. It's more having people like your stuff. I think I do actually need to think about how my lifestyle is going to change and how all these people, I'm going to be like, not an icon, but a pillar for all these people kind of thing. So yeah, thank you for saying that. That's actually something I need to prepare for.
I think all of us do. I was looking at interviews with Will Smith talking about he was being sued like 300 times a year or something like that over everything, over like he was talking about his legal team being bulletproof, there's a lot of things that come with this, which are important to consider. Otherwise, you're just music, tunnel vision, and then, hello, everybody knows me. What now? Yeah. You're just not prepared.
And what it is as well, as an artist, you can't just be good at music. You have to have you need to give off some kind of atmosphere and some kind of vibe that people want to latch onto. You could be great at music, but if as soon as you get on stage, you're just dead to watch, you're not gonna
inspire.
Yeah. There's so much. I feel like a lot of people don't feel like there's so much to being an artist. You've got to be a musician. You need to be a performer. You need to be
entrepreneur.
A big person, an entrepreneur. Yeah, there's so many different things that you need to do, and it's such a fickle business. It's a very fickle business. Like one wrong step, and that can be it. And for me, I think one of my fears is having to give other people like control over my career. You say like your managers and all of them kind of people, you have to really like trust these people with your life, because at the end of the day, that's what the music is to me. If it's not music, then I don't know what I would be doing. So that's something that scares me, having to put my full trust in someone that they're not gonna try and do something with my career, because I've read and watched interviews and documentaries that is actually very common in the industry. So that's something I need to look out for also.
Keeping the circle small, family as much as possible. I was looking at Eddie Murphy, the way he structured his team around like his friends and childhood people and so on. Nipsey Hussle is another one who was doing that. So there are some things you could do to protect yourself like that, but there's always going to be Hollywood accounting. There's always going to be like people trying to scheme. Yeah.
Be on the ball.
I saw you said you study music, right? At Westminster University?
Yeah, Westminster Uni, in London.
What are the biggest takeaways from your education there so far?
I would say my technical ability. Before I went to uni, I wouldn't have had my Mac. If I never went, I wouldn't have had my Mac. I wouldn't have got my microphone. I wouldn't have had anything. I wouldn't have had a clue on how to go about mixing, because at my uni, my course is a 3-way course. So you pick which one to go into performance, production, or enterprise. And I've picked enterprise because I feel like I can kind of get the production and the performance bit myself. And the course, it teaches you all three to a basic standard. So everyone on the course can write a song, everyone on the course can make a beat, and everyone kind of understands the basic business models of the industry. So I would say a lot of my knowledge about how the industry works, before I was quite clueless. I had no idea about how artists got paid. I had no idea about how they put their songs onto, how they distribute it and all of these things. So I feel like the knowledge that I have learned is really gonna help me start my career. So for this whole year, because I'm going into second year now. So for this whole year, I've just been making music, kind of working on the craft. And now I'm like, okay, cool. I think I know enough to kind of, let's put this into action and let's see what happens.
I just realized I went to the wrong university. It sounds like a dream. All of these things you said about I had to learn by myself. So going to a university that just delivers that's just great.
Yeah, the course, it is really, really good. The one thing that I would say about my university is, obviously because of COVID, we didn't get the full experience. So the collaborating and the networking was a lot less. I didn't find anyone from my uni that I could make a song with.
Really?
And yeah, I was really surprised. I found that a lot of the styles that people did, I couldn't latch on. Yeah, I couldn't feel it. And I've got quite a wide variety of things that I can do. But it's quite like emo, a lot of emo kind of stuff and a lot of rock kind of stuff. And I can't.
That's kind of interesting, because the emo movement has been, it came and it went, and now apparently it comes back again. It's like a full circle thing.
Yeah, it tends to be that way with music as well.
What would you say is the most effective or important class out of all of them that you took?
Definitely my business class. My business classes, learning about like the thing I learned about publishing, I learned about royalties and all of these things. So if I didn't, say for instance, I picked the performance pathway, I could be like, yeah, I can do all of this, I can make all of this music, but I wouldn't have a clue on how to go about marketing or how I'm going to get paid or how to set up my accounts and anything like that. So definitely the business is definitely my most important class, because I feel like my musical ability was already there. I just need obviously to hone it and develop it. I didn't have any knowledge about the music industry whatsoever. So definitely the business was the most important. I'd say my favorite was probably the production, because I really enjoy mixing. I really do.
What is it about mixing that you like?
I don't know. I think I like hearing raw vocals and then turning it into a song, like turning it into a quality sounding song. Like it went from this and now this is how it sounds. And because it's so fickle and technical, I'm quite technical like that.
Okay.
So yeah, I get quite a thrill actually off mixing.
I've been trying to find like someone to mix music properly and like develop a sound, because this is very important. There are very few people like Russ, like Nipsey, like, you know, others that make their own thing A to Z, but usually it takes a Noah 40 to make a Drake, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very hard to find the right.
Yeah, definitely.
person.
And I feel like with my course, it's like, say I were to get into the studio with a producer, I know what I'm talking about. Like when I'm talking about how I'm mixing it, because they actually know that compressor is too much and I actually know what I'm talking about, and it makes it easier for them to do, kind of thing. And with like the industry, say for instance, say for instance a label approached me, I would kind of know more about how to navigate that, because I know about the industry and I'm not as naive as I would have been if I didn't do my business class.
Is there any online classes that other people can take, perhaps foreigners?
At my uni, I'm not sure if they do online classes. I know that there's like loads and loads and loads of international students, and obviously everything was online last year, but I'm not sure if this year they will keep it online, and I'm not sure about prices and stuff like that. I can send you my university website link so you can kind of scroll through and check it out, see what they've got. That might be helpful. What I was looking for a social media marketing course. I want to find like a free course that kind of just teaches me how I should have my social media, not just for like music, but for anyone who wants to grow their social media following. So that's what I've been looking at doing. That's my next step, because marketing and promotion, the only idea that I really have is just share it everywhere, make sure it's in everyone's faces. That's all I really know.
Whenever there's not a lot of money behind promoting a project, then you're kind of forced to take a more of a guerrilla approach, you know what I mean? And it kind of pushes you to be extra creative and be extra, to have that thing, you know, that other people don't, so it can catch on like wildfire. So that, I don't think that's in any classes. Classes can definitely teach fundamentals, which are amazing and really useful, but it needs to be that thing, that whatever element that resonates with people, it has to come from inside. It needs to be authentic. It needs to be relatable and relevant to you and to your brand somehow. I'm curious, so far, what are the things you've learned never to do in this industry, and what are the things you learn always to do in this industry?
one thing I learned, which a publisher told me, kind of say like at entry level, if you're just nice to people, like nice to people in your industry, people that you're working with, like you're a good collaborator, you're a good team worker, people will remember that. And if you say you do like favors that you're capable of doing, for me anyway, I will be quick to hand out favors for people that could push me up, because they're going to remember, oh yeah, she did me that favor. So one thing is just be a good person, because there's a lot of like bad people in this industry where the only thing is money. And right now, money isn't what's on my mind. It's just more, let me build my audience first, the money's gonna come. One thing to never do, that's a good question. One thing to never do in the music industry. It's a really good question, actually. It's got me thinking. One thing to never do in the industry, I think in the industry, I would never trust someone 100%. I think that's my kind of thing. I can't put 110% in my faith in you. But really, in a manager, that's what you need. You need to be able to put 110% faith in them. That maybe don't work with people who don't see or support your vision. Like, they're not in my head. You don't know what I'm capable of. I know that I can do this and get to here. And if you're telling me that I can't because you don't feel like I have this or I have that, yeah, I'm all here for like criticism and giving me real talk, realistic expectations.
Constructive.
But yeah, constructive. Don't be trying to put a damper on my vision. If you don't see my vision, then we're obviously not on the same page and you can't help me in any way. I think that would be mine. Kind of anyone I'm surrounded with, you need to have 110% faith in me that I can get to this thing that I have in my head.
It's kind of hard to translate your vision whenever it's in your head. Whenever it's already realized, people see it, then that's easy. Everybody gets to see it. But when it's in your head, it's really hard to verbalize it. And
yeah, and for people to be able to kind of see that potential in you, that's another thing that as an artist, you need to be able to have. You could say, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this, I can do that, I can do that. But if people around you aren't seeing that potential in you, no one's really gonna click on to what it is that you're doing, because they don't see any longevity.
50 Cent, I think, said it best. He likes to run on his own energy and never like try to outsource, energy sources from people, because you are the only thing you can control, basically. So now I would like to transition a little bit into hip-hop culture, the UK hip-hop culture specifically. You already mentioned it before, but I want to get a little bit deeper into it. I'm quite fascinated by the evolution of hip-hop in the UK. What I mean by that is, I know that for a long time, UK rappers, as well as everybody else in the world, emulated American rap. And even some rapped in an American accent. But now I feel like the UK scene really came into its own and merged hip-hop with your own cultural flavor in a very cool and healthy way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I very much like your take on that. How did that happen exactly? What was the process like? And what could, let's say, artists from other countries which are still trying to emulate the American sound learn from the evolution of the UK hip-hop scene?
The one, I would say, yes, definitely. The UK has taken a lot of elements from the US, because obviously the US was like the first market of mainstream music. And everyone around the world was listening to what was coming out of the US. So with the UK, I feel like one thing that kind of took the UK from underground to kind of mainstream level where it is now was Drake. Definitely. He came in and he kind of was working with all of these artists. And then even when he did his little British rap drill track or whatever that was, that obviously that's when people started focusing. Remember when you were saying about that cult-like following? Drake's listening to this UK music, I think I should start listening to it as well.
Yeah.
And then for me, as a UK person, I don't want to hear a UK rapper rapping in an American accent. I don't want to hear that. And that's something that I consciously work on. When I first started rapping, I would rap and I would sing in an American accent, but I feel like it makes me stand out more. It just makes you stand out more if, like, in your own accent, like, you know, the British accent. So, and I would also say that the culture in the UK, like say Black culture, for example, there's a lot of knife crime, drugs and stuff going on in the UK, and it's very violent. That's when the drill scene kind of came on, and it's very, I'd say it's very different. I say the drill scene, we was doing drill stuff before the US, I believe. Maybe I've got that wrong, but that's just what I was hearing first. Then once I heard the UK doing the drill, that's when I heard drill coming out of New York, your Pop Smoke and all of those guys. Yeah. So I'd say UK, they kind of grew because they took all of these elements from the US and then they just kind of remixed it, slapped on a British accent, like, yeah. And we're talking about different things. I'd say it's like talking about the same kind of things, but in a different way, if that makes sense, you know? Okay. So I would say maybe for other countries that are trying to kind of replicate what the UK have done, is I'd say, yeah, take like the pop elements out of the US, use those pop elements and then just kind of mix it in with your own culture and your own flavor and your own sound. That's what I would say.
It takes a lot of introspection to get there, and a lot of creativity, because it's not about the topics necessarily. It's not only about the accent. It's not only about the sound. It's about all of them. And you need to have a strong identity of who you are. That's not something a lot of countries have, I feel, these days. And regarding the Drake thing you said, I've also recently found out that he's backing Top Boy, like the UK.
I think he produced, or he put the money behind Top Boy season 2. Because remember that first Top Boy, I think that was, when was that? Like 2008, I want to say. It was ages ago. And then almost a decade later, they've done it, they've brought it back. So I feel like before Drake, there was no intention on bringing that Top Boy back. So I feel like Drake, he was a huge push for the UK scene in kind of getting it up. And then as soon as Drake started working with them, all of these other US artists wanted to work with us. Yeah. Like even if you look in the last 2 years, UK artists were getting like a million streams, and now they're up getting like 40 million and stuff like that in a short amount of time. So I feel like Drake, he did give us the leg up. And I feel like from then, the UK, we just kind of got more into ourselves, more into, this is our music. Cool, we've taken some of that, but this is what we're doing. And we're just going to keep perfecting that kind of thing. I feel like that's a lot of what's happened.
Drake has I think he does a lot of research, and he's very aware of, musically at least, what's happening in different cultures and different sounds in Jamaica and the UK and so on. Is there like a UK Drake in that sense?
In the UK, is there a UK Drake? The first person that comes to mind is Stormzy. He's the kind of first person that comes to mind. Like when you think of UK urban rapper, like big mainstream, Stormzy is the one. He works with pop artists, pop singers. He does he done some like garage kind of tracks. Like he's done a wide variety of things. But I don't know if I could compare him to Drake. But I feel like if it was going to be anyone off the top of my head, I would have to say Stormzy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you see rap going in the future? In terms of sound, in terms of, changes, in terms of culture, in terms of everything?
I hope that I bring this really melodic feel to rap, because I do like kind of singy rap. I want to bring this real melodic, singy kind of vibe to the UK scene. I feel like rap is only going to get bigger and bigger. It's only been getting bigger from the time it emerged.
It's the new rock and roll.
Yeah, it's literally the new rock and roll. I feel like a lot of you won't just see mostly black rappers. You mostly, if you think of a rapper, usually you're gonna think of a black rapper. But I've noticed a lot more different races coming into rap. A lot of different countries are kind of getting into mainstream rap as well, which I've found. So yeah, I think it's only going to get bigger and better. And I reckon it'll, like music always does, it does a big circle. So it'll probably get back to like real rap. And then, you've kind of got the rap where you're talking about girls, money, and all of these things. Yeah, I feel like it's just going to get bigger and better, and just more honed.
Is there something you would like to see more of?
I'd like to see more females. Okay. I would like to see definitely more females. You see, if you like, usually women, you kind of expect women to be singers and to sing about how they're heartbroken or how they're so in love with this guy. Like, I want that to be changed. Even when you listen to girl rappers, a lot of what they're talking about is men. I want women's music to become less centralized around men and more, I'm just chilling with my friends. I'm just trying to make this money. I'm just trying to get lit and have some cocktails. I'm not worrying about these boys. I'm not heartbroken. I'm just living my best life. Even your Meg Thee Stallion, she's always talking about men. They're all city girls. They're all talking about men. And another thing I want to see is more positive role models for women. Like your biggest female rappers, Nicki Minaj, your city girls, Meg Thee Stallion, they are not positive role models for girls. And their argument is that, that's not my audience. That's not who I'm marketing to. But regardless whether you like that or not, little girls are looking up to you, and you're telling them that this is what they should be doing. You got 13-year-olds just singing mad lyrics, really. And I feel like regardless whether you like it or not, you are a role model to someone. And I feel like we should carry yourselves a certain way because little girls are looking up at you, kind of thing. So that's definitely more of what I want to see. Less women talking about men and more positivity, more relevance being put out. Yeah.
I think this is going to resonate a hell of a lot.
I hope so.
Especially on LinkedIn. I've seen a lot of movement in that direction.
You know what as well? I'm really new on LinkedIn. I'd been on LinkedIn for about a year, but it was only like last week that I'd properly went through my profile and actually updated it a bit. And the amount of people that I've spoke to and kind of connected with in just a week is crazy. I did not expect LinkedIn to be the place. So now every day I'm just like, right, LinkedIn. Yeah.
It's the business hangout place right now.
Yeah, definitely. It's literally the Facebook for professionals. That's what I realized. People on LinkedIn are looking for people to work with. So had I not been on LinkedIn, we wouldn't be here.
Definitely.
So look.
I have a kind of tough question. We can cut it out if you don't like the answer, or if you don't like where this is going, or whatever. But I just have a curiosity, you know. I'm just asking the questions I want. I'm genuinely interested in your feedback for. What are your thoughts on the cancel culture? And
on the cancel culture,
yeah, how is that in UK, and how do you see it, and how do you think artists can and should adapt to it?
I feel like I said earlier, the industry is very, very fickle. In the UK, you can get cancelled very, very easily. I found that in the UK, a lot of it is just bad vibes. A lot of people in the UK just sit on their phone and watch people. I don't know if it's jealousy, or they're like not content with what's going on in their life, but people are always looking for something to jump on and criticize. So I feel like as an artist, you need to be very careful and just not give anyone a reason to try cancel you, really. Because people, they're always looking for, I've noticed they're just bad vibes. When I see things in comments and that, and it's just like, you're just bored. If you've got nothing nice to say, just don't say it at all. So yeah, I think artists just need to tread very carefully about what they're putting out, things that they're saying, and how they're acting, because if you're in the public eye, people are watching. You can't just think, oh yeah, I'm just gonna do this quietly. Like, no, that's gonna get discovered. So yeah, I find it very annoying, actually. I find it very annoying. People just want to live their lives, put out what they want to put out, and people who you don't even know are just making all these comments and assumptions and things about you. Like, there's this artist called Dutch Avelli. Have you heard of him? Yeah, he's this art, and I don't know if you know, but he got cancelled over this whole apparently he was talking to an underage girl, which that is definitely get cancelled for that. But yeah, I can't really comment too much on this, because I'm not sure if what I'm going to say is 100% right. But it's hard as far as I knew, it was hard to see if that was fact or not. It was hard to see if that was fact or not. And with people, as soon as social media kind of sees something, they're just going to run with it. And then that was Dutch Avelli for months. Even up until now, people will never listen to him again. And over something that isn't even proven, you've just kind of assumed because this one meme put it out. So I feel like my one advice would just be for artists, don't do anything in the dark that you don't want to come to light, because it will.
It feels like, especially for creatives, like artists, like musicians, like comedians, like any whatever form of creativity you engage in, it feels like, do you know those Indiana Jones movies, when he's and the walls are closing in and you gotta get out? It's kind of like that, and like you're only in a box creatively now, and you cannot talk about that, and you cannot say that, and this can be interpreted in that, and it's kind of,
you become like very restricted,
exactly,
and like limited in you're less. I feel like you're less free, because you have to think, oh, if I do this, how are people going to react? Even though I don't know these people, people are going to react because I'm in the public eye.
And the paradox is that people initially react to authenticity. That's how you get a crowd.
Yeah.
And that's also how you get in trouble now.
Yeah. Just by being yourself, saying what you want to say, acting how you want to act, people that you don't know. I think that's what's really annoying about Famous. I can imagine it's like, all of these people love me. I need all of my fans to be able to do what I'm doing. However, you don't actually know me, and you're making all of these opinions on things that I'm doing that actually have nothing to do with you. So you are actually, I need all of you at the same time, but you can't pick and choose what you want them for. You're following me. You're gonna form an opinion on everything that I do. You know?
Yeah.
That's what's really annoying.
It's difficult to navigate. I don't know if anyone has made a handbook about it or whatever, but if they did, and if you find it, please do let me know. And if I find it, I'm gonna share it with you.
Thank you.
Switching up to more positive vibes now. 100 years from now, when we're all not gonna be here anymore, what would you like to be remembered for as an artist and as well as a person?
One, I'd like to be remembered that I came in with a whole different style, a whole different vibe. That's one thing. And two, I want to be remembered as not being this over-sexualized artist, really. Because in hip hop, I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of a hip hop artist who is not a girl, who is not really sexualized herself.
What's that girl from Fugees? What's her name?
Oh yeah, Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
Her. She is the exception. Yeah. But say like your Little Kims, all of them, they're just, even though like their music is good, and don't get it twisted, I was still listening to them. I want to break that cycle. Like, actually, I don't have to be half naked for you to watch my music video, you know? Yeah, and I just don't feel like it's a very positive message to be putting out to girls, really. Even though that's what I was watching, I was listening to Nicki Minaj and I was doing all of that. I know that it's not what I'd want my little sister to be watching and my little sister to be singing all of these mad lyrics. So yeah, that's one thing that I definitely want to be remembered for. Like, yeah, she didn't have to be this really sexual being to get to where she is. She actually was talented, and her marketing strategy and her team and everything was on point, that she didn't have to, because that's not my brand. For Meg Thee Stallion, Nicki and Cardi B's, that's actually their brand. Their brand is, I'm this sex person.
What is your brand? What is your
brand? So my brand is, it's mostly, I want my music to be very like girl orientated. Like, I'm with my girls, we're going out, we're just partying, but like, we're not stressing about these boys. That's my main kind of thing. I want girls to listen and be like, actually, no, I'm gonna go out tonight. I'm not gonna sit here and listen to you chatting rubbish, crying. Do you know what I mean? So that's definitely what I'm trying to put out there.
If you would be stuck on an island with only 3 albums, what would those albums be?
Oh, if I could be stuck on one island with 3 albums. So yeah, we're gonna get off this call. I'm gonna give you 3 albums. I'm gonna be like, oh nah, I would have this album. That's a very good question. 3 albums. I'd have one album of like each different genre. So I would have a Destiny. Oh, that's a very, very tricky question, actually. That's very tricky.
It's hard to pick.
Yeah, very hard to pick. Right. So I'm just gonna pick 3 of my favorite kind of albums. So I would have a Destiny's Child on there. I'd have one album from like my old school R&B kind of times. I'd want like a compilation. I just want like an R&B.
That's cheating.
Yeah, okay. So I'd say a Destiny's Child album. The one, I'm not sure, I don't remember what it's called. And it's got Jumping on there. That one, Jumping, that one on there. Another album I would have, good question. Because I never thought about it before. Another album I would have a dance hall album on there. Yeah, that's one thing I want to try. I want to try getting into a little bit of dance.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I think I would have a Vybz Kartel. Either it would be Vybz Kartel, Pon de Gaza, which is like some old album, or it would be Popcorn's Fixed Tape.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I think I would have D Block Europe's Home Alone album. That was a tricky question. I'd have to make a mixtape. I couldn't just have the three. I'd have to make a mixtape or a playlist or something.
It's really hard for a musician to pick because you obviously, as a musician, you get inspired by so many people, and it's like cutting your arm off and trying to
yeah, and it depends on what I'm feeling.
The mood, and yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, you know, I think I'd want a bit of reggae. I do like a bit of reggae.
yeah, on an island. Some
yeah, you know, on an island, if it's nice and sunny. I don't want to hear all of that rapping in my ear. I want to hear some nice chilled reggae.
Yeah. What do you feel about the law of attraction? Do you believe in that?
100%. I watch these meditation videos before I go to bed, and so he kind of winds you down. I watched this one, it's called Success. It's how to achieve success in your sleep or something like that. It's very good. I would definitely recommend. I'm actually going to put it in the chat because it's very good. I was having trouble sleeping and I would be tossing and turning for hours. And then my mum told me about it. And the first time I'd put it on, I'd fell asleep within like 15 minutes. Yeah, I believe in law of attraction 100%. So that video, it kind of winds you down and it tells you to like picture what success looks like in your head and all these things you want to achieve. And then when you sleep, it's just repeating affirmations whilst you're sleeping. And I do believe 100% in training your subconscious mind. Like, yeah, law of attraction. Every day I repeat, like, I'm going to be a rapper. I'm going to be, like, I say, I am a rapper. Yeah. I am. And then I've actually noticed my mindset, it's just become a lot more determined. And I've noticed that things that I'm doing, it's naturally attracting things to where I need to be. So I've actually seen that it is 110% real. And if you want to be anywhere, you need to be around people that are trying to do the same thing as you. You need to be in that mindset, no doubt in your mind whatsoever that you're going to get there. It's just waiting for you. That's how I look at it. My career is literally just over there and it's just waiting for me. Yeah, I believe if you don't believe in the law of attraction, you need to get to, because it's definitely helped me. And it's like a comforting thought, like, okay, I'm not here right now, but I'm attracting these things. This is only temporary kind of thing. So yeah, it's a comforting thing to have as well.
It's a very interesting element in the law of attraction, which is the fact that you never attract what you want, you attract what you are. So in order to attract what you want, you gotta become that thing that you want. So people and circumstances naturally gravitate around you. And one thing specifically that helped me, and I found it from a mentor, suggested I do that, is goal cards. Like, have your goal cards written, starting with the end, like, I don't know how many years in the future. I want to be this. I want to be as famous as this. I want to be like that. I want to have this amount of money. Very, very specific details. And then work back towards, like, for the future 3 months, for the next 3 months, break down into little pieces. And it really works. It really, really works.
Yeah. It definitely, and you know what? I was watching these like TED Talks and speeches of these millionaires, and every single one of them says planning. Like, you need to plan. It's like you've got some drawers to put together, and they've given you all of the stuff, but there's no instructions. Like, you need to definitely plan and have things written down. So when things are written down and you can physically see them, it's like, okay, I'm going to do this now, rather than just kind of having it in your head and then you forget or you procrastinate. And
it's a lot of distractions today.
Yeah.
So we got to keep focused. That's kind of like the North Star for us.
Yeah.
Um, do you have any good routines that help you creatively?
Routines that help me creatively? Not that I've noticed. I don't think I write lyrics all the time, and say even if I just see something and I'm like, oh yeah, that's good, I'll just put it in my notes. My notes is literally just filled with stuff that I could write, or little bars of lyrics that I could write. So maybe if that's the routine, I could use that. I'm just going to put it in my notes and come back to it. So there's maybe that. Another good routine, I would say taking breaks. Definitely take breaks. I would say I could be making music like every day for a couple of days or for a week, and then I will go like a week without making anything. I will go a week without even listening to the mix. Yeah, zoom out, and then when you come back in, all of the ideas just start flowing. You're like, right, I could do this, I could do that, I could do this, and hearing things on fresh ears. Like last night, I was mixing this song and I just had to stop because I wasn't noticing any difference in what I was doing, and I was just gonna mess it up. So I was like, no, I've listened to too much now. I need to put it down. And then when I listened to it again this morning, everything was pinging like, that needs to change, that needs to change. I need to add that, I need to add that. So yeah, definitely 110% take breaks, because your creativity needs to sleep sometimes.
The break thing is something I ignored for a long time, and I've recently just came to understand it and its importance. But yeah, you really do go ear blind after listening the same thing so much creatively. Another very cool thing I read in Julia Cameron's book, The Artist's Way, is that the first thing in the morning, and J. Cole does that as well, the first thing in the morning, you have a notebook close to your bed, you wake up.
I've heard of that, yeah.
You just free write. That works wonders.
I've never tried that. I have heard of that before, like have a pen and very first thing you do, you just write.
Whatever it is, doesn't matter. Just free write, let the hand write. You're actually kind of like a passenger, and you're discovering what you're writing.
As you're writing it, exactly. You're not even thinking about writing it. I'm gonna try that tonight, because I remember when I did hear that, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try that, and I just never did. So I'm actually gonna try that and see what I come up with, because imagine the first thing in the morning, the thoughts and everything is just very raw.
Yeah, dreams.
Like you haven't even, So yeah, I'm definitely gonna try that tonight. 100.
Please let me know how that works. In my case, it was. I could definitely see results in like a week, 3 days less.
Oh, so did you write things that could like?
It doesn't matter what you write. Like I stink. I gotta go take a shower. I gotta whatever. Today I gotta do this. Tomorrow I gotta do that. I dreamt about just random things. Just let your hand write, and just unblocking your mind and removing that barrier of thought between your brain and your hand and your expressive tool. That kind of carries with you along the way and during your day. So whenever you freestyle, whenever you're writing, whenever you make music, that barrier is off your mind. So it just flows. It helps with the flow state. Yeah. I think that's how it works, but it just does. I don't know how, but it just does.
How it just works. See, I think that I maybe think too much, because I'm not as good at freestyle. Like I'm not a freestyler. I want to be able to freestyle. I've heard people freestyle and like everything that they say is within context of each other and it all fits. When I freestyle, there's gaps. I'm not even making any sense. I'm making up words, kind of thing. Yeah. So I think I just need to find a way to kind of remove that thought barrier, because when I write, I can freestyle write. Like I can write very quickly. I can write lyrics very quickly. Once I've got the first line, it's all just coming. But with the freestyling, because I'm thinking about what I'm saying and I'm trying to get my words out, that's where I mess up. So yeah.
There's no time to think. at all.
Yeah, there's no time to think. You just have to let the words out. And the more that I've noticed, the more that I practice, even if what I'm saying isn't making sense, with practice, you get better, and what you're saying starts to be relevant to each other and follow on and make sense.
It does. I noticed something very interesting. Rap battles and battle rappers in particular, like Eminem, but obviously there's a lot of good ones in our day as well. They never really go and become successful singers or rappers or artists, like in the recorded realm of artistry. Why is that? Because their pen is lethal.
Yeah.
So why is that?
I would say one, remember what I said earlier, you could be great at music, but you have to be an all-rounder to really take it to the top. You need to have all of these things. Yeah, you could be great at music, but you don't have a business mind. You're not even really interested in the business. You just want to make your music. You don't have any. So I'd say one could potentially be like lack of ambition. That's just not what you want for yourself. You just want to kind of stay underground, do your little freestyles, and in your community, you're liked and you're doing well. So I'd say that's one thing. It's just not in people's ambition. Two, you got to be an all-rounder. If you're doing these freestyles, but you're not performing, people want to watch a performance. I don't want to see you stand there just speaking. Yeah. I want to watch something entertaining. I want to be entertained.
Make me feel something.
Yeah, make me feel something. Yeah. So that's two. Three, another reason why a lot of kind of underground freestylers won't make it to mainstream. Maybe they don't have much, variety. They're not very versatile, As for longevity in this industry, no one wants to hear you dropping the same thing throughout the whole of your career. I've never seen a successful artist make the same thing throughout the whole of their career and it last. So maybe if freestyling is the only thing that you can do, there's not going to be any longevity in that, because I don't just want to hear freestyles. I've heard all of this for a year. What else can you do? I'm getting bored, actually. You're not bringing me anything new. I've heard all of that, So I'd say, one, lack of versatility. Two, maybe that's just not what you want for yourself. And three, you're not an all-rounder.
Yeah. Well, it's a pity. Some of them are really, really good.
Yeah, it is.
Let's talk opportunities a little bit. What are the biggest development opportunities you see for up-and-coming artists these days? Like that stuff that maybe didn't exist 5-10 years ago.
Development opportunities, I would say social media is the biggest tool, the biggest tool that independent artists and upcoming artists are using to put their music out. Because if there was no social media, there'd be no way of sharing your music. You need to find a record label that sees what you're trying to do and is going to help you with that. So social media, definitely. The rise of TikTok has been crazy. I need to get active on TikTok because that is where it's at. I posted that snippet on my TikTok, and I'd never posted anything. I'd made the account the same day and I just posted the video, put like 2-3 hashtags, and it almost got like 1,000 views. And I didn't even do anything. All I did was
post
it. Yeah. That's it. So if you're actually consistent and the content that you're putting out is quality on TikTok, I feel like that is the place where you can go viral. Reels as well on Instagram. Try and say that again.
Reels on Instagram as well, because it's kind of like the same.
Yeah. I need. That's what I need to do. Be more on my social media. But I think because my main focus is just getting my song mixed and mastered, planning my music video, and then when I do start marketing, that's when I need to just be consistent across all of my social platforms.
Storytelling.
Say that again?
Storytelling, telling your story.
Yeah. What I think this tactic that I'm gonna do, like the snippet that I posted on all my socials, the one that you saw, I want to just record myself rapping, singing, and just drop them. So they're just authentic little videos that I've taken on my phone and I've just posted them. You know, maybe one sitting in the car, door open, do a little choreography kind of thing. Yeah, I think that's what comes to my mind when I think this is how I'm going to grow my audience. Consistent quality content.
Yeah, but consistency is the key word here.
Yeah, definitely.
What software do you work with when it comes to recording and editing?
I use Logic.
Logic.
Yeah, I use Logic.
Everybody uses Logic, and I do not have a Mac, and it doesn't.
Yeah, everyone says in terms of like recording, it's definitely got to be Logic. Because they just got, I don't know, because I've only ever used, when I was at college, we used Cubase, which was rubbish.
I know.
Rubbish. And then it wasn't until I got to uni that I started using Logic. When I was in high school, I dabbled in GarageBand, but then once I left school, I had no access to a Mac. So Logic was just not even in the question, was not even a thing. And then when I got to uni, I was like, oh wait, this all looks familiar because I'd used GarageBand. And then, yeah, I just kind of found that mixing vocals, Logic is definitely the place in comparison to like Cubase. Yeah, it didn't even compete.
Totally agree. What tricks do you prefer? Like, what do you have any favorite tricks or like effects or like whenever you record and mix stuff?
Bag of tricks that I record. I would say in my ad-libs, I use a lot of, not even just in my ad-libs, I use a lot of delay instead of reverb. I find that it gives it, it gives it a bit of a boost, and it sounds like reverby at the same time. Because sometimes reverb, it can just like drown your sound, I found. So yeah, I use a lot of delay, and I like to pan, if I have lots of ad-libs, like lots of different tracks, ad-libs, I like to pan them opposite. So like, say I'll have like high harmonies and then I'll have like lower harmonies. I like to pan them in opposite directions, going from left to right on each track, to say I'm doing the same thing on the low and the high harmonies, like the same vocal, I'm singing the same thing, it's just one's high and one's low. So in one, it will be, the high will be in my left ear, and then the low will be in my right ear, but then the next lyric I'll change it and the low will go right. Yeah. So yeah, that's a lot of what I do. So a lot of my ad-libs sound like really fadey and like they're moving kind of thing. So that's one thing that I like to do. But I'd say my mixing is at a basic to intermediate level. Like I'm only really using the standard plugins, your compressor, reverb, delay, EQ. I haven't really explored much outside of that, like your envelopers and expanders and all these other things that when I open, I don't even have a clue on how to use. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say that I have tricks that I've noticed, but I would definitely say that in each of my songs that I mix, I'd have the same method. Like I do the same kind of thing for each of them, so then all my songs sound consistent. Yeah. That's why I want to find a producer and an engineer of my own. So I'm not going like this producer, that person's mixing it, he's mixing it, and then all my songs, there's not that consistency. This is my sound.
No, that's mentorship. You gotta stay there, you gotta see what they're doing, you gotta learn and add to what you already have. Yeah,
that's it. I wanna, as well as being a rapper, I wanna be able to be a fully skilled through and through sound engineer. If need be, I can mix my song to a very high standard. But yeah, I'll become more focused on being an artist and less on engineering, because I will have them people around me to do that. But if need be, I can do it very well.
Eminem also makes songs as well. He produces and he makes beats and all of those stuff. And a lot of other rappers that people don't really associate them with beat making and knowing all of that, they actually do. And they work in their tour buses and they're always like on the grind and stuff like that. It's holistic approach to music. Also, at some point your career is going to go down, so you're gotta need some ways to sustain yourself. You know, the artists, musicians don't really get a pension like that. So
that's the thing with music. Like, if you don't succeed, like, you need to succeed. Like, I think the thing is as well, a lot of artists, a lot of people just don't recognize that being an artist is actually a business. You have to treat yourself like a product. And I think that's a lot of where a lot of people go wrong or get it kind of mixed up, that actually being an artist is not just about making banging songs and putting it out. You can make the best songs in the world, but if you don't have the marketing, the look, the vibe, the everything, the aesthetic, you can't.
Team. That's
what I'm most focused on trying to find. I want a mentor, someone who sees my vision and is like, okay, if you tried this, if you did this, and I picture someone being like older, someone with a lot of wisdom to kind of give me.
Is there a certain someone, like a specific person, you would ideally like to have as a mentor?
I would like to have someone like P. Diddy, Jay-Z, someone like them, because I know that P. Diddy, for example, he was literally the pioneer for the music that I love. That he did that, like him, Jay-Z, them, I would say them two, they know through and through what they're talking about. And I feel like if they were to hear my music, I feel like they would see the potential in me, and I feel like they could give me really, really relevant advice. So I think if I had to pick one, I think I would say P. Diddy.
Why him and not Jay?
P. Diddy or Jay? Do you know what? I'm not really fast.
Okay.
I'm not really. I'll take either. But I would say I acknowledge P. Diddy more as the person who made the music that I make. Yeah, Jay-Z, he was like watching Beyonce and that, but Keisha Cole, Brandy, all of them, like Monica, all of the people that I grew up listening to, he had a lot of involvement in making them. I recognize him as the producer more than Jay-Z.
He basically invented the remix.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. Yeah, P. Diddy, he really did it. He did. In about, how long would you say? 30 years?
Even faster than that. I've learned about his story because he's a Scorpio and he's in the music industry, and somehow I was Scorpio as well.
Oh,
24th of October.
Oh, mine's November 14th.
So is it a lot of us in the music industry? I feel like it's the right sign for it, for this industry.
Yeah, I feel like we are. We're a bit spicy, but we're still like cool people. Like, we're still like calm to be around and whatnot. Yeah, I feel like Scorpios are about to be taken over.
Hopefully. Yeah, so he joined the record label as an intern, and he just worked his ass off. Like everything, even the smallest task, he would under-promise and over-deliver, everything. And he just raised to the top in that record label, and then he just went off and made Bad Boy, and the rest of history. And even like his little dances and stuff, you can see in him his excitement, that he's living it. He's passionate about what he's doing. You know, it's not just for show, it's not just for money, it's not just for branding and marketing. He's there, he's living it, he's feeling it. I don't know, I resonate a lot with him as well. I would have picked him over Jay as well.
Yeah, he did it, definitely. Because I feel like, I don't know, maybe if Jay-Z had just been a bit quieter in the industry, but I can pick out the people that P Diddy made, you know, and my hands, I've got more space. I need more fingers, you know. So yeah, I would definitely pick Diddy. And yeah, Diddy, he just seems more like charismatic. You know, he seems more like I would thoroughly enjoy a conversation with you more. I feel like we'd have a bit of dance, you know, whereas Jay-Z's always just got, I don't think I've ever seen a picture of him smiling.
Okay, now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever seen either.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think I'd definitely like to talk to P, 100%.
Do you know of Ryan Leslie?
I don't think so.
I think you're gonna find his career very, very interesting. And he made, he's a producer that worked with Puff Daddy in the past. And actually, he is the one P Diddy stole Cassie from.
Oh.
And then Cassie moved on and whatever, you know the story. But the point is, this guy Ryan Leslie is very proficient on the entrepreneurial side of the business, and also in terms of promotion. He's a producer, and he used to make these videos like way before like social media was big, you know, and very, very early in YouTube history. He used to make these production videos, just him on the keys, doing his thing, dancing, you know, whatever, that kind of P Diddy type stuff. He just grew and exploded doing that. And now he started, well, a couple of years back, but he started a company called Superphone, which is basically a label within an app. So you can manage, it's for athletes, it's for dancers, it's for artists, it's for whoever, like personal branding, whoever person is a personal brand.
To be, yeah.
And you just manage your entire, like if you have 1 million followers on Instagram and Instagram suddenly decides, you know what, I don't like this post, I'm gonna cancel you, or someone reports you or whatever, everything is gone. Mm-hmm. So all of your marketing money, all of that effort, all of that is just gone, and your fans are gone, and you gotta start over from scratch. And that's where his platform comes in. It's called Superphone, and that's where you can safely store, manage, and engage your fan base there. And they engage through SMS, which is, it has a higher return than any kind of newsletter, any kind of whatever else, you know.
Okay.
I think you're gonna find that interesting.
What's his name? Ryan Leslie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a bit of research on him. This guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a bit of research on him. Thank you.
Welcome. That's why we're doing this.
And Cassie, he actually found Cassie.
Mm-hmm.
And Diddy just stole her. Interesting. Yeah, I've got a bit of research to do. Thanks for that.
Welcome. So, lastly, do you have any projects you're currently working on that you would like to plug, or just shine light on whatever you have going on?
So obviously my song that's coming August, there's that. I think the main thing is just to kind of anticipate a string of singles. I think that's what I want to do for about a year, maybe every 2 months. Because I was watching, I don't know if have you heard of Central C?
No.
He's this rapper in the UK that he's been in the industry for a while, but for the last year, he's been consistent. Every 2.5 months, he's dropped a song with a music video. And in a year, he just skyrocketed, like now, and he was independent, and now he's asking labels for 4 million as an advance and stuff like that. So I was watching his marketing plan, and I think I'm gonna copy what he did. I'm gonna release a song, market it, drop it, 2.5 months, keep banging it, marking it, and then I've got another song. When I release this song, I need to know which song is coming next. And I need to, whilst that's being played by everyone, be working on getting that song mixed and mastered and getting that music videos shot. So I reckon I aim to do about 6 songs over the space of a year.
Okay.
Just watch my audience growing, and then at the end I want to drop a little EP or a little 10-track, a little 10-song album, something like that. So, but it all just depends on, in terms of the EP coming, the album coming, that just depends on what my numbers are looking like, because I don't just want to be releasing songs into the void that are just getting wasted.
Of course not.
So yeah, hopefully a year from now, not hopefully, in a year from now, we'll be looking at a Aliya album.
Well, I really do hope that I'm gonna be among the first to hear it.
Yeah, 100%. You'll get the exclusive.
Thank you. Same here. Listen, this was amazing. This was very insightful. I'm really happy that we got to have this chat, and that I found your video on social media, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for you.
Thank you so much. It's very insightful for me as well, because I never actually said these things out loud. I'd never had this discussion. No one's ever really sat and spoke to me about what it is that I'm trying to do and kind of what I think about all of these things. So yeah, I've thought about things that I'd never thought about before, and you've given me a lot to come away and think about and do some research on and stuff. So thank you so much.
Same here.
This is really good.
I'm going to stop.